they say dogs are man's best friend, and there's no doubt that our canine companions are keeping us all sane during these uncertain times. But how are our four-legged friends having all of the changes due to the pandemic? Well, joining us now is dog trainer and behaviour coach Rachel Meadows. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning.
Rachel, am I right in saying that dogs all across the world are loving lockdown because they have their owners around 24/7? I've my dog here, Brownie, and she is loving having me, John, the kids all around. Is that the case for all dogs?
But in most cases, I think for some dogs it can be a bit of shock because they're not used to having the kids around. And so their kind of rest time is when the kids go to school and they get they get a chance to switch off a little bit. Because dogs like to sleep, and they're not getting that much sleep around. Everyone's walking them and playing with them and doing tricks and training. So it's a balance.
Is there a chance we could actually over-exercise our dogs then during this time?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, some dogs sleep up to 18 hours a day. So they really need between 14 and 18 hours of sleep a day because they don't sleep in the same sleep cycles that we have. They have very broken sleep cycles. So they need that time to have to come down and rest. So definitely over-exercise can be a big problem. And we also see that sometimes when we overstimulate the dogs, they don't sleep at night time. So you might think that a really tired dog is a well-behaved dog. That's not always the case. That we want to look at sort of mental tiredness rather than physical tiredness.
What about for people who are cocooning? Obviously now in Ireland, you know, the over 70s can get out for exercise. But if people still want to stay at home as much as possible, what kind of tricks or exercises can you do with your dog at home to make sure that they are getting some stimulation?
Well, I mean, I love enrichment activities for dogs. That's my favourite thing. It's my go-to thing. It's the foundation that I build all my training from. So introducing things like these wonderful things, I don't know if you can see them there. These are called Canine Connectables. They're an Irish company and they're fantastic. You can fill them with food inside and then you can connect them up so that they really have to work for their food. And they're a great tool to use for separation distress as well, so that the dog is kept busy and entertained whilst you're not involved. So you can put them at a distance so that they're still beside you, but they're entertained and enriched at the same time. So plenty of these things also. These are my favourites. These are called snuffle mats. They're really easy to make. You just get bits of felt or bits of material and tie them through a mat, and they put the treats in there and they snuffle their way out. It's fantastic.
What about teaching dog tricks during lockdown? Did you teach your dog Caleb something new during this time?
I did. So Caleb is an old dog now, he's 12, and so he learned all his tricks when he was a puppy, but he's very rusty because he's, not too keen on tricks anymore. But he has a little showcase for his TV debut today, if you want to see it.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I hope you'll leave the food and come with me. Hang on. I have my treats ready. Let's see what happens. Okay, Caleb. Okay. So we're going to teach a little spin. And to teach the spin, we bring the food right down low, turn him around, and then say yes, and feed him. Do another one, yes, feed him. That's a little trick for today. I don't know if you could see that.
We could, yeah. So you can teach an old dog new tricks. Fantastic.
Absolutely. They never stop learning, which can be a good thing and a bad thing because they also learn bad habits as well as good.
What happens when we gradually start to get back to some semblance, hopefully, of normality and kids are not in the house? We're not maybe working from home as much as possible. How will separation anxiety impact dogs? I know Brownie absolutely suffered from that as a puppy. She would scratch, she would over salivate. Is that going to be an issue when things sort of resume and go back to normal?
I foresee so, yeah, absolutely. And I think the best thing to do is to start to prepare for it now. So instead of correction, use direction. And so, practicing little times where you're going out of the room or that, there's separation when you go into the bathroom. Quite a lot of dogs like to follow their owner to the bathroom and sit while you have a shower. So practicing distance, while they're enriched, with all of these snuffle mats and licky mats. I just forgot to mention the licky mats are amazing. That's some disgusting food there that I will entertain the kid with. So practicing enrichment whilst you're separate in the house, and then building that time up slowly so that they're not with you all the time, but that they're also not stressed while they're apart from you. So that enrichment is a really good idea. There's a great guy, Shay Kelly, who runs Canine Enrichment Facebook group. It's amazing for enrichment ideas for anybody, like you said, that was cocooning at home on their own, that maybe mightn't be able to get out for long walks, or indeed, if you have a dog that's recovering from an injury, all these kind of free work, we call it free work games and enrichment is fantastic for the dog.
We have a question from Susan that I want to get to, because you're obviously using treats there with Caleb. She says, I'm currently training my new collie who's 3 months old and using treats as a reward. He's responding well, but will there ever get to a stage where you don't need to use treats so much as a reward, that it'll just be in their mindset anyway?
The $1 million question. Everybody asks that question. So I often say to my clients, would you go to work and not get paid? And I think majority of people say, well, I'd go for a while and kind of wait and expect, and maybe there'll be a paycheck at the end of the day, and then I'd probably stop going if there was no paycheck. So I think once we've trained, if you've received good training advice from a trainer, once you've trained a behaviour, you need to remind them every so often to reinforce that behaviour with some food, or with play or praise, but mostly food and play, depending on what really floats your boat for the dog.
Rachel,
For
that's been lovely. Rachel, sorry, Brownie is kicking off because weatherman Derek Hartigan has just wandered onto her set during her item. Brownie, you're such a good dog. Rachel, that's been brilliant. Thank you so much for that sound advice. Much appreciated. Brownie, you did so good.